After an incredible first season of the One-Up Modified Motor Tour in 2025, we're back for more, and everything seems to be pointing in the direction of more in 2026. More races, more cars, and more chances to win for all 30 of our stars in this second seat running of the One-Up Modified Motor Tour. And it all starts here at Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida, home of some great late model races over the years. But tonight, it's our modified drivers' time to shine over the course of 90 laps here this evening. This is going to be a great way to get our season started. I, for one, cannot wait. And alongside me in the booth to bring you all the action tonight is James Ellison, back with us for another year. Great to be back doing modified races again. We got a lot more drivers in the hunt for victory this time around. 15 races as opposed to 12 we had last year. There's so much to look forward to, but it all starts right here in Pensacola.
Oh, absolutely. Gonna be a beautiful time here. And it's Florida. you got most of the time Florida is a great place to be, depending on your opinion of the tropical temperatures, but that's beside the point here. Looking forward to seeing this expanded field, expanded schedule, seeing how things play out. Some familiar faces are still here, but we also have had to say goodbye to several of them, including not going to be defending, but our champion for the first season.
Yes, you've absolutely got a point. Ashton Blevins moved on to the Nitro National Series. Nicolas Santiago, Christian Van Heerden, they've both gone on to the Truck Series, and many other names besides. We've got plenty of returning names and a lot of new faces as well, looking to stake their claim on this season and future seasons to come here in the Modifieds. And with that being said, we can now bring you the starting lineup for tonight's 90 laps of action, 30 cars strong, and all of them qualified within half a second of each other. It's a good sign. We've got a close field for this season. On the pole, Chase James in his first race with Chanticleer Racing after as his first season spent at another team. He's driving the number 9 this season, and he puts it on pole with Sean McHale, another driver back for a second season in the Modifieds. Making our way through row 2, Adrian Torreon, the Spaniard, driving for Cypriot Sport this year in the new 79 car. He's got Zane Grayson, a Nitro National veteran, alongside him, and Jack Davis. This is a guy you are going to need to look out for in the hunt for the championship. He won 3 races last season, and if his performances in 2025 were anything to go off of, he is the odds-on favorite to win this year's championship.
Oh, I have to agree. He's definitely one to watch out for. I was impressed with his performance. Every race that he ran and won. Every race that he did win but still had great results. He definitely proved that if he could have had a chance, he probably could have given Blevins a run for his money on that title. But another one I'm looking out for, and that I am half biased on this one, Colby Bogdansky. He really impressed a lot. I'm sure he impressed quite a few people last year with his performance most races, but he's definitely one I'm going to be watching. Not just because of him being with one of my team's allies, but his performance has been stellar regardless.
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we, over the course of the next 90 laps, who is on top and who's going to have some work to do over the course of the next 15 races. But with that being said, we've got 30 cars on the grid ready to take the green flag for the second season of the One-Up Modified Motor Tour, and we're ready to bring you that action now. Race number 1 from Pensacola, Florida. It's coming at you live in just a short while. Getting set for a new season, it is Chase James and Sean McHale on the front row. The green flag is already out, and for 90 laps, the One-Up Modifieds take on Five Flags Speedway. It's a good launch from the 9 down into turn 1. He's going to easily clear the rest of the pack out of turn 2, and he's going to bring Torreon with him in the 79. McHale trying to find a spot in line further back, but even further back is Andronico, Torreon's teammate, going way high in 3 and 4. The action's already starting to ramp up.
Yeah, that is a bold move, although it may not have been entirely by choice. Kind of stuck on the outside there with 56 and a whole host of others. Yeah, dropping back. I don't think that 3 wide was by choice.
No, and now Wayne Hovick in the 41 stuck up there. But look at the lead that Chase James has built up in the opening 2 laps. It's already over a second. Back to Torreon in second. And Jack Davis started 5th. He's all the way up to 3rd spot already. This is a guy you are definitely going to need to look in your mirror for whenever you see him on the racetrack.
And perhaps I have no doubt there will be times where the entire field will be looking out their windshields wishing that they were ahead of him, because he's got something to prove. Like we talked about, he's definitely going to be going places this year, and just like I think maybe Chase James here is, considering the lead he's already built.
And going back to Jack Davis for a moment, he's got a big future ahead for him. He's got a Truck Series debut lined up later this year with Robbers Racing at North Wilkesboro. That is going to be huge for his confidence. We'll see what that leads to in his future. But for now, he tucks up right behind the back bumper of the number 79 of Adrian Torion, who has settled nicely into 2nd place in a series debut.
That is big right there, because you want to make a good first impression when you're new to a series. Like you talked about the whole deal with Jack Davis with his potential opportunities this year. And first impression is very important. It may not be what defines where you go in a career, but it certainly helps to have a big first impression.
And meanwhile, this is the battle for the 10th position between Gentry Gee in the 93, battling Maston Rimmel and Max Broomer in the 00 back there, that purple car. That is the battle for 9th, 10th, and 11th. Colby Bogdansky, you mentioned him earlier in the show. He is now settled into the 8th spot. Zane Grayson and Joshua Warren taking over this 54 car for Nicolas Santiago, who's gone on to the Truck Series. This car finished top 10 in every race last season. Could we see that continue on in this race? As it looks like Davis has found a way past Torion for 2nd and Juan Diaz in the 6th, trying to follow him through.
And not quite as easily. Still got through there pretty smoothly, no complications, but you still got to give the 79 credit there. Torion did a really nice job to be able to hold off the 45 for as long as he did.
I just wonder if his car is a little bit more oriented towards the short run, because now that we're 10 laps into this race, it started to fall back just a little bit. We'll see if that continues on for the rest of the night. But even now that Jack Davis has gotten up to 2nd place, he's still got a 2-second deficit to make up to Chase James, who is walking away with this race. We're only on lap 12 now, but he has stretched his lead to over 2 seconds, and he's not that far away from the back end of the field, with Dustin Strew in the 66 bringing up the rear. And here is Victor Reyes in the 8. This one's a bit of a surprise. I did not expect to see this 8 car this far back to start the season, but he must have gotten shuffled out pretty bad in the opening few laps, because he started this race all the way up at 14th.
Yeah, that's not good for Reyes, but still plenty of time, still plenty of races to recover from this, regardless of what happened tonight. But honestly, still plenty of chances, and you see a nice battle here going on between the 22 and the 54.
Yeah, that is Warren underneath McHale for 5th place. These two, this is the first side-by-side battle we've got on the racetrack currently. Down in the turn 3, Warren's got the advantage, as it looks like we've had someone up the racetrack. Oh, and it was Wayne Hovick in the 41, way off the pace down in the turns 1 and 2. That 41 car's got a lot of damage on the right rear of that car, and I wouldn't be surprised if they brought it down pit road to assess the damage and see if they can get him back out there.
And here he comes. It's unfortunate. You don't want to start your season off like this, but like I said, first race of the season, got quite a few races left to recover. You never want, even in modifieds, you never want to start your first race of the season in the hole.
Especially considering, the run of form he had at the later half of last season. He got a good finish at Flat Rock Speedway, to my recollection. Plus, he's been looking forward to this season, getting a good start with Aztec Motorsports, but he's going to have to wait because he has fallen off the lead lap already. He's at least 2 laps down now. This is just a rough way to start, especially considering this is a full season format we use in the modifieds. No points resets to get him caught back up.
Yeah, that's going to be the tough part. That's where he needs to gather it back up, get himself mentally straightened out so that he's not beating himself up going into the next race. Because if you walk from the first race with a bad result, defeated into the next one, there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to turn around right away.
He is back out on the track, though. He's now 4 laps down, but he is still running, hoping for a little bit of attrition to carry him forward as Jack Davis makes the move underneath him to lap him. So Hovic's goal now is to just stay out of the way and log laps at this point. Although he does have 20 lap fresher tires than everybody else, maybe later on in the race that could pay dividends for him.
It really could. Because we just have to wait and see. That damage could hurt him, but it could also not have any major effect. It is a short track versus super speedway, like the other three are going to be doing for a little while.
And meanwhile, Chanticleer Racing's having a great start to their season. They're running first and third at the moment. Chase James leading the way, Juan Diaz running in third spot, and Jack Davis in between. I'm really starting to wonder if Torreon's car has started to fall off a cliff a little bit, because he is holding up the likes of Warren, McHale, Grayson. They're all stacked up behind him, and I think Maston Rimmel's about to join this battle soon too.
Yeah, Rimmel, he got past Bogdansky a little bit, because I saw him behind Bogdansky earlier when we were looking at these very cars here. So, but at the same time, if this car keeps holding up, everybody, we could have a big problem in the long run.
We shall see, but Torreon for now holds on to the 4th spot, the Spaniard, of course, making his series debut, while the British driver, Chase James, heads the field. He's led all 24 laps up to this point. Jack Davis running in second, and then the Cuban driver, Juan Diaz, running in third, having a really strong day today. Remember, he was close to a win last year as well. I believe it was at Huntsville before getting shut out late by, I believe it was Jack Davis. So this is going to be an interesting round 2 of that bout between those two drivers.
Oh, absolutely. And while we look at looking at the back of the field here again, I couldn't help but notice, looking at the current run comparison to the starting lineup, there's a few drivers who have been shuffled out of the top 10 as of this point in the race. I mean, you got the championship winning car out of the top 10 right now after Kyle Robertson announced after starting 8th. You got Bogdansky at risk of falling back out of the top 10 after starting 11th. There's quite a few that have jumped in and some that have shuffled out. It happens in racing, unfortunately, for some.
And meanwhile, looking at the back end of the field, a lot of guys who are struggling a bit, including the Mesky Engineering teammates, Adam Taddick and Dustin Strew. They started this race in 22nd and 29th. They're now running 28th and 29th. So tough break for that brand new race team, but we'll see how they get on later in the year when they get more experience under their belts. But we're not that far away, actually, from Chase James catching the back end of the field and starting to put cars a lap down. That is really going to be where this race turns on its head, because that could allow the likes of Davis and Diaz to close right back in.
We've seen it time and again how quickly lap traffic can change the complexion of a race for the leaders. We've seen races be lost by someone dominating a race because in all 4 series because of lap traffic. We've also seen drivers be able to just barely hang on, and you never know what's going to happen when lap traffic's in the picture.
No, but Chase James, I think his goal right now is to build as big a lead as he possibly can, so that when he does catch the back end of the field, he has much more of a buffer to work with than if he was only half a second out in the lead. He's now 2 seconds out in front of Jack Davis. But looking back here now, Victor Reyes, Adam Taddick, Dustin Strew, they're not that far away from getting lapped. And Chase James, they've got to start telling the teams of the 33, the 66, and the 8 possibly to just find a lane to get out of the way and let the 9 through, because I don't think any of those guys at the back of the field wants to be responsible for this 9 car losing this race.
I would say not. You talk about getting out of the way. Looks like Torreon finally got out of the way of the people who were stuck behind him, because he dropped from 4th to 9th in the last several laps while we've been focusing on the lap traffic and the leaders.
Yeah, Torreon's now settled in behind Gentry Gee in the 93 in their fight for the 8th position. but that's moved Maston Rimmel up into the top 5. He started this race down in 15th, so that's already plus 10 on the grid for Maston Rimmel, who another favorite for the championship. He had a strong end of the season in the trucks in a fill-in role. So expect big things from him this year as well, as it looks as though Chase James has finally caught the back of the field. Tucker Rudisil in the 68 starting to back up a little bit from his position on the track previously.
Yeah, and he started pretty much only like a few positions back from where he is now. Like right where the two behind him are fighting side by side, giving the 9 a huge bit of trouble here. Although it looks like they've settled their differences for the moment. But we've talked about it. This could play big, and we can already see it. The gap has closed pretty quick here.
Absolutely. The gap was 2 seconds a few laps ago. Now it's down to 1.2. We'll see what it is at the line this time. But at the line right there, he closed half a second on that previous lap. The good news for Chase James is that he's got a lap car now in between himself and Jack Davis. Adam Taddick in the 33. So this is going to be a litmus test for the rest of this race. If the 33 holds up the 45 in a meaningful way, that will dictate the rules of racing for the rest of the night. And likewise, if he gets out of the way pretty quickly. But right now, at least, that huge pack that was in front of the leader, it's kind of sorted itself out now. So we'll see what the gap can become between Chase James and Jack Davis later on.
Right now, it's just a little over half a second. But if Davis can get past this 33, you see right there, Chase James is getting held up by Struve. So this, for now at least, that could play a factor, especially if the 33 is no longer in the way.
We'll see, because we're closing in on halfway in this race. Lap 45, of course, is halfway. And remember, we've got an extra bonus point out there for leading the most laps. It's no longer a fastest lap bonus point. It's 2 points for leading the most laps now. So if Chase James can hold on for a little bit longer, he'll lock up those extra points. As look at this, I think the tires are starting to kick in on Wayne Hovick's car, because he has dispatched Juan Diaz and has caught the back end of this field.
Yeah, and that 33 there of Caddick, I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right, just caught back up to the 9 because he's getting held up by all of the fellow lappers. And here's what I was thinking about, that 33 getting out of the way. So this could be a big deciding factor in what happens the rest of this race.
As we're coming to take the halfway lap here, that'll cement Chase James to lead the most laps in this race if he can hang on for this lap and one more. As you see, he's gotten underneath Dustin Struve, Victor Reyes in the 8. So the gap is starting to close once again, though. Jack Davis is only about half a second off the lead. But the problem he's got now, Wayne Hovick on much fresher tires right behind him, and he doesn't really care about who wins this race anymore.
No, he don't. But I gotta give Struve credit here. He realized there's 2 leaders here, and there could be a battle for the lead here any time now. So why risk angering him? Although maybe he changed his mind on that. I don't know.
Well, it looks like he's staying out of the way up in the corners, which is really what Davis wants. But Chase James, he's locked up the points now for leading the most laps today. Now he puts Victor Reyes a lap down in the 8, so that's 3 cars down a lap now, in addition to Wayne Hovick, who's 4 laps down. So to make that 4 cars off the lead lap. But for right now, Chase James and now Jack Davis, they've both gotten past Victor Reyes here. So now it could be a straight fight between these two once again.
Yeah, there's too many lap cars in the way for the 6 of Diaz to join the fight, so for now anyway. So this could be big, although Davis going high is giving Hovick a chance to, not for position, but give him a run for his money.
And that, I'm sure, is not what Jack Davis wants, because look at the line of cars up to his inside. Reyes, Struve, Taddick, and Juan Diaz is back there waiting to strike. If Davis gets stuck on this outside line for long enough, that could let the 6 through to make a change of clear racing 1-2 at the front.
You say freight train? That's pretty much what's happening here. Although, well, he tried to get ahead of Stru. He might be able to have just enough power. Yeah, he's not going to have to worry about the 6 for now, but he's got a little bit of recovery to do thanks to the 41.
Yeah, the 8's gotten past him as well, and now the 57's gone a lap down for good measure. So Jack Davis, his lead is... his deficit now, rather, is up to a second, and Sean McHale's starting to make his way back into the conversation as well, the outside pole sitter for this race. He's been running 4 for a while, and now he's gaining time on the front 3.
Yeah, if nothing else, he'd love to be able to regain the 2 spots he lost from the start of the race, but I'd say where he's at right now, if he can't get to...
I hate to interrupt. We got one blowing up, and it's the 13, Jean-Raphael Bedard, in the 13 car, slowing to a stop, and that is going to bring out our caution flag, the first of the night, because he is not going to make it back to the pit lane, and that is going to really change the complexion of this race.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there for Bedard, but it can happen. You don't want to see, like we said with Hovick and his issue, we don't want to see it happen in the season opener, and well, this ought to be interesting.
A rare occurrence in modified competition, pit stops under yellow flag conditions. So we've got the entire field coming down for a fresh set of tires. You don't see this every day in the modifieds. In fact, this might be the first time we've ever seen a round of pit stops in a modified Moto Tour race. But sure enough, the whole field's coming down for a fresh set of tires that'll take them to the end of this race.
That's going to be very interesting to see here, how this shakes everything up. But yeah, I think this is probably the first time I've been in the booth for pit stops.
Oh, Davis hits Grayson for a back, and Chase James has stalled it in his pit. Juan Diaz is going to exit with the lead, and Chase James, he's still trying to get that car refired. Oh, what a disaster for this 9 car who's dominated the race up to this point. He finally gets rolling, but that is a huge pill to swallow for Chase James, who's led so much of this race. He's led every lap up to this point. Now he's not even going to be in the top 10 on the restart.
That is majorly unfortunate. That was something I did not factor into my thoughts on how this could go, but you know, it still could be good for the team though, because you lose the one who dominated, but at the same time you could still end up in victory lane with the one who was running third up till this point.
So Juan Diaz assumes the lead of the race. Shane Zilagi in the 57, he'll get the free pass, so he will cycle around. There you see him on the inside moving past the safety car. He'll get back on the lead lap. But for Chase James, he dominated this race so well up to that caution period. He's now mired down in 14th place.
I'd also notice that it's not just it's not just the 9 that's suffering from this. It's also the fact that I see the 22 is also falling out. There's several drivers that this shuffled everything up, and that's going to make things real interesting going for the finish.
So the lights are out on the pace car. We'll go back racing with approximately 30 laps to go. We have a few lap cars on the inside making their way up to the front. We'll see what Juan Diaz can do now in the lead of this race. He assumes the lead from his teammate Chase James, who's mired down at 14th. We'll see how many positions the 9 can gain between now and the checkered flag. Pace car's off, and Diaz is going to lead us back to the green flag on lap 59.
Yeah, this could be problematic for him, because that 45 has already cleared the whole bit of lap traffic. So I would say, Diaz, you better watch out.
Maston Rimmel trying to work clear of the 8 of his teammate, actually, in the 8, Victor Reyes. We're making our way through the field here, trying to figure out. So far, Diaz and Davis have pretty much cleared everybody in a stark way. Look at how big a lead these two have built up. This is reminding me so much of Huntsville last year, when those two were battling for the win, settled in favor of Jack Davis. But right now, we got one exiting the pits, actually, Agustin Galvez in the 38, trying to... He had an issue on the restart. Oh, and he gets hooked into the path of LXD. and Luke Xavier Delorier, and that is going to put us under the caution for the second time today. That was going to be a caution, though, regardless of if that 38 had his issue.
Yeah, it's just some unfortunate circumstances, but now this changes things again, because it's going to be very interesting to see how this next restart goes. It was unfortunate to see what happened there, because you had like two different things going on at once that just basically became one incident.
You see, Chase James and Sean McHale have both made their way back into the top 10, but the accident occurred between Delorier and Galvez there. So Augustin Galvez was on pit road for an unknown reason. We'll try to see what that was later, but he exits the pits. Meanwhile, up on the track, Shane Tyler got into the back of the 10, and that sent Delorier down into the path of Galvez, and that touched off a big wreck right there to put us under our second caution. But even if the 38 hadn't been there, the 42 was still going to turn the 10 and bring out a yellow flag regardless. So we're back under the yellow flag here with 64 laps in the books. We've got Juan Diaz out in the lead of this race. We've got Jack Davis in second. A pretty much mirror result to what we saw at Huntsville last year. Davis beat Diaz on that occasion. We'll see if the 6 can return the favor this year. We've got Maston Rimmel back in third, Zane Grayson up to fourth, and Bogdansky's found his way to the top 5, right ahead of Ali Ahmed, who started this race down in 25th. So that's 64. Has made a huge gain in this race up to this point.
That is a great way to salvage a poor qualifying position to turn into what could be a great start to the season as long as this thing holds.
But of course, we still have 25 laps to go, and a lot can happen between now and the checkered. But we'll see, because we're going to hopefully get the 1-to-go signal right there. Yes, we do. So that means the Meskey teammates are going to pull down to the inside, Strew and Tadek. I believe Wayne Hovic's also going to pull up to that inside. There he is in the back there. And Galvez in the 38. So once again, we have 4 lap cars to the inside. Chase James has already made his way back up to 10th after restarting 14th. Sean McHale likewise made his way up to 8th spot. We'll see how many more spots they can gain in the closing stages.
You know, you got to figure Chase James is determined. Even with this few laps left, as the green flag goes back in the air, he is going to salvage this as much as possible. He already got the 2 bonus points for leading those laps, so that can't be taken from him, but it still hurts to see him there.
Yeah, not as good a restart, though, for Juan Diaz as on the previous one, because both of the Meskey cars have unlapped themselves to get back past the 6. And now, Maston Rimmel's giving a lot of pressure to Jack Davis in their battle for second spot. So we've got 3 cars under a blanket now for the race lead. Zane Grayson in 4th spot, trying to fend off everybody behind him. This race has come alive in the final few laps.
Yeah, this is big. You got the 33 in the way now. This could really play big, because Davis could get by Diaz, or we could see Rimmel get by both of them because of this. We don't know for sure, because this get big, and as well, you see it right now, the 14 may also be joining this battle here shortly.
Oh, Rimmel goes way high. That could allow Grayson to get a move on here, and sure enough, the 14 is already right there on the 3, just as the 45's battling the 6. We've got Seth Bayless in this race in the 34. That's Jack Davis's teammate. He started down in 19th. He's already up to the top 5 himself, so strong run for Elmira Automotive, formerly North Pro Motorsport. But right now, everybody's still in the mix at this point, as we have coming to 19 laps to go.
Yeah, this is gonna be big right here. I mean, you still got the top 2 not able to get by the 33, but not as big a pressure right now on any of them. Not even the lap. Oh, never mind that. They're all bunched up again. But this is going to be interesting if this 33 messes these 2 up enough that 3rd and 4th can catch back up.
Absolutely, but Juan Diaz and Jack Davis, these two are no strangers to racing each other for a race victory. As we said countless times, flashback to Huntsville last year when those two battled it out for the race win. But here's Chase James in the 9, moving past McHale to try and move himself up into what should be the 6th spot behind Bogdansky in... No, actually that's 7th because Bogdansky's in 6th. Bayless is in 5th position. I'm getting it's the start of a new season. This thing happens all the time. But what I'm certain of, without a shadow of doubt, is that this race is going to come down to Jack Davis again, trying to get past Juan Diaz for a race win. He's done it before. Let's see if he can do it again.
Well, first he's got to catch back up and see if he can capitalize on the fact that that 33, that pesky 33, is still there in the way in the 6th. But for right now, I think they're not as pressured by it, but I would say don't wait too much longer.
Because you just never know if the 3 and the 14 can make their way back up to these guys. That could be an opportunity in the late stages for one of them to strike late. As Diaz cuts low really hard on the 33 to try and put him back a lap down. And the more the 6 races the 33 like this, the more the 45 is going to race right back to their bumpers.
And it looks like the 14 there, Grayson, trying to get inside Rimmel. Grayson, well, I personally don't know much about him, but we both have seen what Rimmel can do in the higher series with the fill-in role he had last year. But this is him going for a championship and proving that he has a place in one up. But right now he's gonna have to settle for 4th
or 3rd if he can try and get back past the 14 in the final 11 laps of this race. But Diaz has cleared Tadek to put him a lap down again. That's enough. That's a lap car in between himself and Davis. That could be a big opportunity for the 6 to just check out on this field. Jack Davis, by the way, just turned his personal fastest lap of the race. I know we don't give out a point for that anymore, but that is still proof that this 45 is giving it absolutely everything he has in his fight for victory here tonight.
And I've noticed that a little bit of that gap between the 14 and the 6 has chipped away, but not as bad as it would be if he were still behind the 33. But I definitely have to say, it still definitely could be a good day to be Juan Diaz.
He's got the lead with 9 laps to go. His teammate Chase James, he seems to have stalled out his progress in about 7th spot. That's a good start to the season, but it's got to be heartbreaking for that 9 car who dominated this race, led 56 laps of it, and he'll have nothing to show for it but that 7th place result. But Chanticleer Racing still got a good shot at the win. Diaz out in front as we come here to 7 laps to go.
7 laps and no traffic ahead of the 6 for the time being. A lap car between him and his closest competitor. And the fact that his closest competitor also is about to have pressure for position.
Yeah, Grayson has caught Davis. This could be a fight for 2nd on our hands in the final few laps of this race here at Five Flags Speedway. What a great start to this modified season. I don't want to cast any doubt on last year's season, but this has been a much better start to our season than we had last year, in my opinion anyway. We've had great racing all race long. We've had a battle for the win that's been in question the entire time, and now as we come to 5 laps to go, we still have 4 or 5 cars that can still win this race.
4 or 5 cars, and all would be deserving in my opinion, though none would be more deserving than our pole sitter, who what could have been. Whoa!
That was contact between Grayson and Davis. That might have been a little cheeky move by the 45 to intentionally go low into the corner to force the 14 into the high groove and prevent him from really making any time on him. And he might be hoping that the 3 of Rimmel and now the 34 of Bayless can get alongside the 14 and keep him busy in the final 3 laps.
And you see Bogdansky in there in the mixture as well with this. But the problem is, the more they keep doing this, the more likely it is that it's going to be a Juan Diaz victory here very soon.
Yeah, we've got 5 cars under a blanket for the 2nd position, which is very nice to see, but Juan Diaz has taken off. He's opened up a lead now of 2.8 seconds with just 2 laps to go. Unless that 6 car is a catastrophic failure and they're coming to the white flag here, this is going to be his race.
Yeah, this is going to be something as the white flag is now in the air.
How about
Juan
this,
Diaz,
though, for Juan Diaz?
This
The Cuban
is
driver,
gonna be huge.
he spent so much time in the shadows of the drivers of last year, but he is going to stake his claim that he is going to be a big championship favorite this year. He crosses the finish line to win at Five Flags Speedway. Diaz does it in a very spectacular fashion. Chanticleer Racing led every lap of this race. That is a powerful statement to make.
Apologies for that, but the team is really, yeah, they made a statement. They had a dominant car that didn't win the race, but the other car did, so I don't think we're going to have to worry about how good their season's going to be, so long as they keep this momentum up.
But you gotta feel, though, for Chase James. He led so much of this race at a pit stop. Got him. It's such a rare case that we have pit stops in this series, but it came up here, and it really bit the 9 team at the end of the day. But we still got a little unfinished business to sort out here. We've got Wayne Hovick's incident to diagnose. As well, he finished this race 4 laps down, and you deserve to find out how that happened. We'll get you that replay in just a moment. So Hovick was pretty much at the back of the field anyway. And did he get... Oh, he went low trying to go into turn 3. Reyes tried to get in behind him, and man, that was a big hit for the 41 and the 8. I think what happened there was that Reyes tried to pull down thinking he was clear of the 41, but just wasn't enough room.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He started 12th on the field and then dropped back, and then this happened. So, very unfortunate, Hovick, but I believe he could bounce back.
And there's still 14 races to go this season. I fully expect Wayne Hovick to make a decent charge up through the point standings, and like I said, we've got 14 more races to bring to you, the next one of which is at Greenville Pickens Speedway. That's another historic venue that we're going to for the very first time. I'm looking forward to that one as much as anyone else, and we hope to see you there as well. But with that being said, from James Ellison and from myself as well, thanks for joining us for an epic modified season opener. Congratulations to Juan Diaz, who, after suffering a bitter defeat last year at the hands of Jack Davis, is able to turn the trick, beat him on his own turf, and score an impressive first career win to get his championship charge off to a very solid start.